Hello, Shelly.
Hi, Fraser.
What's going on?
Just the normal. You poking at me and me being frustrated with you.
I'm just waiting for you to poke back.
I do
Over the
poke back in
threshold.
my. I do poke back in my own way, but I'm too nice sometimes.
Yes, in your head, unverbally.
Right.
Got him good. And here. Okay, so today we're doing tops and flops or the.
Ins and the outs. What's in and what's out.
Mhm.
So
And these are what's in.
we're doing what's in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
So
in
what's
right
in for
now.
you? Okay.
Yeah.
I
Well, we
know.
could call it the
Okay. Well,
Hansels because he's so hot right
what does
now.
that mean?
It's a
Hansel?
Zoolander reference. That Hansel, he's so
Oh,
hot right now.
I
Yeah.
watched that once, like 2 decades ago.
Wow. That movie
Yeah.
made an indelible impression on me. I thought it was so funny. Yeah.
Yeah,
The
my cousins
files
did
are
too. And then I finally,
inside the computer. Yeah. Anyway. Okay. We're already, yes, I'm already doing my thing and going off topic. Okay, so how about you
okay.
start? What is in? What's hot? What's happening? What's hip hop
Are we
happening?
doing the book we thought about the most? Because I
Whichever
have
one you
a
want to start with.
banger. I have a
Okay,
banger.
bang it up.
Okay, are you
Bang
gonna
the
do the one that
gong.
you thought about? Are you gonna do the one that you thought about the most too?
Yes. I'll just
You
switch
sure?
what's in my hand.
Well, this is the one that it was digitally, and I don't think I talked to you very much about it.
Oh.
So it'll be good, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Although, yeah. So it is the January 6th report
Mm.
put together by the special committee in the U.S. to talk about how we got to the point in which an insurrection was attempted to take place on January 6th, 2021, during the that was not so peaceful transition of power between the Trump presidency and the Biden
Mm.
presidency.
Well,
So
a
yeah.
lot has to change when the deep state moves.
I don't know what you mean.
Exactly. Don't worry about it. But that does sound like it would slap.
What?
I mean,
Okay.
this
Well, what's
this
interesting
paper,
is that
yeah, what's
well, it was
interesting?
like the most exciting thriller I've ever read in my entire life.
No.
I mean, it was actually okay. So, what was interesting is this: I listened to the audiobook, and there was like this executive summary, and that's like the first like 4 hours. 4 hours.
Okay.
It's like let's just
Very
give you the
thrillery.
tea. Yeah, and it was so interesting because it really kind of gives you the overview of everything that happened or everything that was taking place behind the scenes, like because some context during November of 2020 through January of 2021, I watched a lot of news. And so I have like, obviously it wasn't that long ago, but I have these vivid memories of how things were being reported. And it was like, William Barr quit and this like justice quit and like this person quit and this person quit. And you're just like, what is happening? And then they kept on saying that Trump, who was then the president, was continuing to like make false accusations that he won the votes and that he actually won, to be president for the next term. And so then it's like you have all these reports, but then you actually find out behind the scenes like what happened, like in the White House and what people who were living through it. And then all of a sudden it's like so and so quit because President Trump was placing a tremendous amount of pressure on them. And like then they were in a conversation about this, that, and the other. And anyways, it was really interesting, and you really got to see and understand what Donald Trump was doing in order to pull strings behind the scenes and who was advising him at the time, and like his just blatant um, denial of the facts and trying just the blatant misinformation that was being spread. But for someone like I was talking with Ted about like, oh my gosh, did you know that? Oh, like, did you know about this guy named John Eastman? And I was like so excited about it. And Ted's like, yeah, but it's because he keeps up with the news.
Mm.
And like around like January, February, I think I was just starting to get tired of like I was just getting newsed out a little bit. And so this was a nice way to follow that story in a more concise, I mean, it's like a 30-hour audiobook though, in more of a concise way about like what happened. Instead of like having to follow the news from like February of 2021 to like to now pretty much.
Mm.
Like you're getting all of that information sort of in a condensed and focused way.
Is it as good as a John Grisham novel?
I've never read a John Grisham novel.
Yeah, I tried to once. It was a little bit teensy weensy, a lot racist, so I didn't pick him up again.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Oh.
it was one of his like very earlier work, so hopefully he got a little bit
Mhm.
better. But I was like, yeah,
Yeah, no.
yeah,
I
okay.
think what was also, well, wait, I'll finish with this. Sorry,
Mm.
I've obviously got a lot of passion about this. What was interesting too is that every section had a different narrator. And so it did
Mm.
feel like a collective voice instead of like one person like making all these accusations mostly towards our former president, or at least in the US, our former president, not yours. But it was neat to hear like the collection of voices because it sounded like an actual chorus of people chiming in about like all of the things that had happened. And I thought that was really clever and just like good production, like smart producing on the part of whoever made the audiobook.
Yeah, and you said it was like free or something too, right? To get a
No,
hold of? No? Oh, it's not.
no. Mm-mm.
Oh,
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 the document is free, but like I wanted to consume it on audio because I
and that's
thought I
not.
could get I would
Okay.
the audio is not free, but the document you can go it's open, it's a public document, so you can get on it through the US government website.
Mm, makes
Like
sense.
literally the January 6th report, and then you can open it all up and it's all there for you. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
All right, that's like my big accomplishment. Most important thing I read this year. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. The one that I thought about the most, you'll probably see coming. Tiny Beautiful Things.
Oh my gosh, I love that book.
Yeah, and this coffee was actually a gift from you to me.
From me. Mm-hmm.
And I've loved her writing ever since, like, I think even before Wild, like when that she published an article that was kind of related to Wild in somewhere. Like it was like New York Times or something. And it was an amazing piece of writing, like incredible. I was just like, I I'm gonna read Wild. I liked Wild a lot. I thought it was quite good, but her article writing is very good, and now that makes a lot of sense after this. So this is a collection of Dear Sugar things before people knew that she was writing. She was Sugar, and people were writing to her in an advice column, and she would give them advice, but it was anonymous, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's a very eclectic, wide range of questions posed to her, and she responds in like the most, I would say, like brutally kind way possible. Like she's very empathetic, but she does not tell people what they need, or she tells them what they need to hear, not what they want to hear, essentially.
Right. Absolutely.
And then and gives enough context that it's not like a tweet, basically, where she contextualizes it so much that it should be able, the person that she's responding to should be able to take away what they need from it and know under the circumstances of which it's given if it applies to them or not, which is a feat. Like the information design and all of these things is incredible, number one, and then also just her writing is fierce. Basically, like she's just an
Yeah.
incredible writer. um
Yeah, because there's like the question, and then she answers it by telling something about herself that's like vulnerable and open and empathetic. But, and then she always somehow ties the letter that was written and the story that she tells back to like the question posed, like the deepest question posed
yeah,
in the letter.
yeah,
So,
it's very like
like pretty clever.
drilling down in, like it's a very like human experience book. Like all great writing, I think it's about, capital A, about everything. And Yeah,
absolutely.
something that's like eminently rereadable. It like will reignite you, I think, if you're in sort of like a malaise or a drought, which I kind of was like in a I mean, it's hard to say that I'm in a reading slump because I read 100 books this year so far. But yeah, I'm just sort of not feeling super motivated and kind of lethargic. And this was like kind of like a bolt of lightning, basically. So I thought about it a lot.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad. So I'm glad
Hmm.
that you liked it. I didn't expect that. I don't know. Are we doing our classic next? And
Yes,
then our favorite fave? All right.
classic.
For you, it's classic. Okay, I know you read this and actually didn't love it as much as I did, but I
Mhm.
really enjoyed it. I just enjoyed it thoroughly, and it was Jamaica Inn by
Mm.
Daphne du Maurier. I just really liked it. I don't read a lot of mysteries. This is more of a classic mystery than I would. I mean, I don't know. I like it's just like a classic romance mystery, and it just worked. Like there was just everything that worked for me. Very atmospheric. Um, I actually heard you and another booktuber say that it was like kind of hard to root for the main character, but
Mm.
like I I didn't feel that way.
Oh
I
yeah.
felt like she was really like grounded and that she really was connected to nature. And I don't know,
Do you have a
in
question?
our story. No, I don't. Lower hand. What's happening? Oh my
I
gosh.
will allow you to
But
speak.
oh my gosh. We're having technical difficulties over here
Hey,
in
and
case
when
nothing
we're
happened for you.
and it's kind of appropriate for Jamaican since all of the men were especially deprecating to her.
Yeah, yeah, but even when it got to like the twist and she found the drawing, like I was like, like I was just like I was just in it. Like I was just in it. So maybe it just hit me. And I love the moodiness of Du Maurier's writing. And I liked Mary because again, I thought she was just like she had sort of like a grounded naivete to her. She was naive, but she was like could relate things to farm animals and stuff. And I was like, I like you, girl. Like I just like you.
I felt like the like love interest like mansplained to her why she was interested in him. Like every chance he got, and I was just like, why is she into this guy? Like this guy needs to fall off a cliff or something. Like I would punt him down a hill and video it and be like, this asshole got what was coming to him.
Oh, I thought
Just
he
my
brought out the
feeling.
best in her. Maybe I was just in the mood to be swept away, and so I just forgave all its errors. I was just swept away by it. I was just like it like it just worked for me.
I thought
Even the
the
love interest, I thought he was like cheeky and cute, and I didn't know if he was one of the I mean, he was one of the suspects for a little while, and I was like, "Ooh, are you a bad boy or aren't you?" Like I didn't know. I was all about it.
yeah. Yeah.
No, it
Well,
was
the
like
twists
Aunt
were well done.
Patience. Oh,
The
yeah,
twists were really
yeah,
well done. Like, yeah,
yeah.
very, very well
Of
handled.
course they were well done. They were Daphne du
Sorry.
Maurier. I just liked it, and then like I left with a feeling of like I didn't think this was a perfect book by any chance, but it left me with a feeling of I want to read something else by her, and that's like a great feeling to have, at least for me.
Hmm.
So, all right, what's your
So,
favorite classic?
a book that should be a modern classic, he said with complete confidence, probably less than 1 year after it was published.
Oh my gosh!
The Spear Cuts Through Water by Simon Jimenez.
Oh yeah, you were like,
Incredibly innovative,
mm-hmm.
unconventional work of epic fantasy where the primary audience, the meta audience of the book, like in a postmodernist way, is us, and it's directed to us as if we were watching a play unfold, is how things are described. Um, and it weaves in and
Mm-hmm.
out of that. So you both get that, but then it's will like be unconcerned and situate itself right into the fiction as well. So it interweaves like a lot of really interesting stuff and will address you as you when you are actually the audience participating. And
That's
that
cool.
shift is just yeah, it's completely something I've never experienced before. And the amount of information that you get and its design in that space is completely different. It's also queer, it's romantic in some ways. It has a really cool world building based on like Malaysian culture, I'm pretty sure, like folkloric things happening. It's again like very epic, very sweeping. It was just like incredible in every way. And I also loved um crap, what was it called? The Birds?
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember. The
Vanishing,
Vanishing,
van,
yeah, the Vanished Birds. Again, that was
yeah,
one that was like mind blowing for me in the sci-fi space. So I think Jimenez is just killing it. Like
yeah.
I'll be reading anything that comes out by that author now. It's just yeah, so fresh feeling. Like it's just wild that both of those books came out off the backs of each other. Like I'm just like
That's cool.
not worthy.
And they both work in different ways, or does it
Yeah,
work in
like
similar? Oh, that's cool.
I think the only thing they have in common is how innovative they are in their spaces, especially with like framing devices and perspective.
Hmm.
Yeah, like
Interesting.
the beginning of The Vanished Birds, you just never get a beat on what that story is about until probably like halfway because it constantly is shifting. So it'll work for some
Hmm.
people and bother others, but like it's almost like a short story at the very beginning that then becomes hyper relevant as you read the rest of the story. And at the beginning, you're
Mm.
kind of like, huh, I wonder why that was there. Like it was great, it was well written, and it's pertinent to the world building, but it's like again very epic in scope, even though it's a short story. Like I think it's across hundreds of years, maybe 1,000 years, and you're kind of like, whoa,
Wow.
what is this story going to be about?
Huh.
So it's like another like yeah, like you just don't ever get to be in like stale normal territory, and some people are not going to like that at all. They want to know exactly what they expect from epic fantasy and get that Sanderson stance, and others who want innovative fiction will not.
Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. Well, the real question, the most important question, do you think I would like it?
I think so. Like it's hard to recommend it because I can't liken it to anything. You know, that's the thing about both of those books is that like I can't be
But
like,
you know me
if you
as a
like
reader.
this, what I mean, not in sci-fi or epic fantasy fare.
I mean, I've told you what I've liked. It's okay.
Yeah.
You don't have to like.
I mean, yeah, like I think it's just something that you have to experience to see if you are going to grind against what they're doing, because in a lot of ways it goes against sort of like what people are taught and what genre conventions and stuff like that, right? So if you come to sci-fi and be like, I expect this from my fantasy, you're not gonna like it. It's kind of like Scott from Gunpowder Fiction and Plot, when he reads literary fiction, if there's magical realism in it, he's gonna throw it in the fire, basically.
Oh, I didn't know that that was one of his
Yeah,
things. I like magical
he
realism and
hates it in at least literary expectations of something. So
well,
there is that
it's
kind of
called taste.
ingraining in,
Okay.
in the space. There's that kind of ingraining in sci-fi and fantasy in particular because people in that space have definitely been conditioned by the market to expect and want certain things. So it's also, I would consider like very avant-garde, this stuff. So
Okay.
I don't
All
know.
right.
Would you like to be on the cutting edge, Shelly?
I don't know, but my favorite fave this month was an epic fantasy. So, ha. I
You
don't.
showed me.
I mean, I don't know. Do I want to be cutting edge? I don't know. I think I'm kind of like old lady-ish and kind of old-fashioned. Okay, like that's just how I see myself a little bit.
Yeah,
Like
but
I'm an old soul.
maybe this stuff will galaxy brain
I
you
mean, here
though.
I
Who
am, like
knows?
Middlemarch is the best book ever. Like here, I just feel like an old lady. Like you know,
Yeah.
not saying that only old ladies like Middlemarch. People with taste like Middlemarch. Okay, like let's just be real. You don't. All
Okay.
right.
And Scott does like that, so
Can't trust his taste. It's just
So
it's so up and down. It's like, what do you like? What do you like? I can never tell. If people are cutting down stuff in our yard, and I'm just concerned.
I could tell, yeah.
Like,
So
what
what
is
is your
happening?
next book?
My favorite fave of the month. I don't know if I
Favorite
told you
flavor?
about it.
Hmm.
It
Oh
is
no, I didn't know
Lightfall
about that. I like that
by
artwork.
Tim Probert. I know, isn't it fantastic? Look at that.
Unless, is it one of those books where like, oh, the cover, it's so amazing. Then you open it and it's not even that artwork. Okay, good. Good. Fraser
Yeah,
approved
it's
already.
fantastic. Look, I'll show you. Like, look, there you
It
go.
does look great, yeah.
It looks
Is
great,
that
right?
one that you saw on Lindy's channel?
No, I saw it on Gloria's channel, Gloria Z
Oh,
Thompson or
right.
Gloria Z Thompson. Yeah.
Zed. Yes.
Uh, there you go. Like, this is the early on page.
Oh yeah. Looks great.
Yeah, it's really, the story itself is nothing groundbreaking. Um, but I would say that for fans of the Becky Chambers Monk and Robot series,
Hmm.
I think that you would also like this because it's fantasy. The world is adorable. There's clearly like peril, but it's not really about the peril. It's about the friendship between the girl and this creature, the Gladrian. And it was just so sweet and it's so well done. And then here's the kicker. Um, I let one of my students borrow it and he read it in a day. And then he gave it to his sister and she read it in a day. And then they gave it back to me and we got to have a conversation about it. And they
Ooh.
loved it. And so it was really sweet to like have this book that it like lent out. And I was trying to get his taste and seeing what he would like. And he was just like, he got it. And then the guy who wrote the Amulet series, do you know that? The Amulet
Mm.
comic book series, it's like another kind of middle grade fantasy series, is blurbed on the front. So my student got it and he was like, oh my gosh, my favorite author of all time is blurbed on the front. So
Mm.
like even before he read it, he was like really excited about it. And so I just thought it was a hit. And it's sweet. It's really about friendship. The world is cool. There's like a bigger subplot going on. And I read the first two books, and the third one is yet to come. And it's just like it's great, and the art is great throughout. It's just just worked, you know. It just worked really well. And
Hmm.
yeah. And then the main character too also has like she'll get anxious, and like the artwork is really like lends itself to like when she's feeling a certain way, and it's like that anxiety, and it's sort of about like calming your anxiety, which I can really kind of relate to. So
Hmm.
yeah, just loved
I'll
it.
have to check it out. Wonder
It's
why
so
that
great.
didn't make the top 100 lists because
It
I
was
waited
fantastic.
some crap, I'll tell you.
Me too. All right, go go ahead. What's
Oh
your
yeah.
favorite fave?
So this is very a nerdy one, but it's very interesting. Like it was just really good. It's called Always an Invader. It's a Marvel
Oh,
book. And
huh.
interestingly, it's kind of like retro. But it is the story of Namor, the Submariner. And it is his original story. Like it recontextualizes it in a very interesting way. There's a kind of like iconic time period in which he's introduced in the Marvel space, and he has amnesia. He's in World War II. He's part of the Invaders, which has Captain America, the Human Torch, and Bucky Barnes, and like the Winter Soldier guy and stuff like that. And it really smartly interweaves the past and the present. So when it's in the past, it has like a style that's like the old comics, the actual
Oh,
invaders.
that's cool.
But then it
Yeah.
recontextualizes why Namor is the way he is, and why he
Oh.
kind of he represents a like PTSD in this thing. Like it confronts PTSD of him in the war, his amnesia, and it contextualizes things that sort of didn't make sense that he was doing back then in the
Mm.
retro days, and why he's so protective of his underwater kingdom and kind of lashes out and has like this violent streak and stuff like that. It's really smartly done. Like if you're even remotely interested in a Marvel book and Namor as like a character, there's literally nothing that even comes close to something as smart as this. Like usually Marvel comics are just, you know, plot driven fun affairs and not
Sure.
super thinking about intellectual plotting, let's say. Whereas this is just completely different. And I wasn't expecting too much from it, but my brother
Oh,
insisted that I read it. He's like, no, like this is really great. And it was surprisingly affecting.
that's cool. I like the idea of like the artwork looking old when it's like referencing the past. That's clever. Like that right
Yeah.
there is just super clever.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
And
yeah.
it's sort of like is interesting because it's like a primer on the character as well. That you kind of like think you know, but probably don't know because most people weren't reading comics in the 70s. I
Yeah, I know
certainly
that just
wasn't. And yeah,
you weren't around in the 70s
exactly.
though.
Exactly. But it like satiates the like both groups, right? Like the older comic book group that is like not liking the direction that Marvel comics are taking, and then also like gives them the retro angle, but then just really smartly brings out key aspects of a very key character and lots of appearances that people like the Fantastic Four and things like that. It just has like a little bit of everything.
That's
And
cool.
then yeah, widely intelligent instead of just like the supervillain doing the exact same thing and they fight and then they lose and then it starts again
Yeah,
because nobody kills each
like
other and
predictable.
stuff. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's cool. That's cool.
Mhm.
You didn't even talk about it, I don't think, to
Well,
me.
I figured you probably wouldn't care about it, to be honest.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean,
So,
it sounds cool, but it doesn't sound like something I would pick up, to be
mhm,
honest.
yeah,
And
which
like
is
I
fair.
wouldn't seek out. Yeah.
Yeah,
So, but when Graham, my son, gets old enough in like a decade or so, I'll know what to recommend to him. So I'll
yeah.
keep that in my back pocket.
Namor's gonna blow your
Yeah.
mind, son. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, well, thank you for coming
Well,
on. And thank you for,
yes,
inning and outing. And the other video will be up presumably at the same
on my
time
channel.
as we like to do.
Yeah, we coordinate. We know what we're doing over here. This is our
Yes,
first rodeo.
exactly. Exactly.
Gosh,
So check it
how
out.
dare anyone think it is? I'm just kidding. I don't know.
What?
I said no. This isn't
Oddly
our first
defensive.
rodeo. I, I think I'm just
Okay.
getting anxious because people are trimming our trees and I keep looking at them and they're like getting closer to the window and my window's open and I'm just like, why are you here? So, anyways, I'm just having a little bit of mental breakdown right now. It's okay. We're fine. It's
And with
okay.
that, we shall say goodbye.